Welcome to the Denasha Harrison Show here on Intellectual Radio, 708-38953. Thank you for joining. We got an important topic to talk about, a couple of things. When I came in today, I was simply going to, speak my mind on some things, which I'm still going to do. And it's a really hot show going on in the other studio, the studio that you're used to seeing me in. Brother Fred Hampton Jr. is doing his show concerning a very serious topic that we're going to touch a little bit on, but definitely catch Free 'em All, Fred Hampton Jr.'s show that's going on prior to this show. So there's been a lot of activity going on with young brothers being pulled out of the Des Plaines River, which is located, if you're not familiar with the Chicagoland area, it's south of the city. So the Joliet area, um, the Des Plaines River runs between um, the south suburbs of Chicago and Joliet. And the latest person that was pulled out of the victim was a pastor who they actually found today. I'm gonna go ahead and pull his name, but he was found today, and a lot of people speculate, what it possibly was. Um, Misdirection. There was construction going on. It was late, dark. Whatever the situation was, currently they're doing the autopsy um, to find out if it was some type of foul play. But what's interesting is that if you look at those who have anything to do with the situation with the Des Plaines River, I believe 6 or 7 young brothers have been pulled out of that river within the last month.
Yes, they have.
And so that points to possibility of um, foul play. There's family members who are actually in the studio, um, on the other side of the studio, talking about their experience with um, the Will County's the Will County Sheriff's Department, Joliet Police, State Police, talking about how they've actually handled the situation. And so it's a very lively show, because people are actually pouring their hearts out about their loved ones. I got a brother here that we're going to talk to shortly by the name of Brother Mustafa. Thank you for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
We actually met when I was coming in, and he is going to speak a little bit about how he actually met the pastor prior to uh, met him about a week ago.
Somewhere near about a week and a half ago, yeah.
Prior to his death, and the name of the pastor is Pastor Warren Beard. Pastor Warren Beard, who's 53 years old, was found coroner's office. Now, Chicago police will be investigating, and I believe this is the first time in a series of incidents in the Des Plaines, with the Des Plaines River, that Chicago is actually taking the lead on investigating, due to the fact that Pastor Beard was coming from Chicago. I believe is why they're going to be heading up that investigation. So my prayer goes out to all the families that are involved with losing loved ones, not only to gang violence in the Chicagoland area. I believe over the 4th of July, it was 21 people that we've lost. The last person who I believe died today, maybe yesterday, was a 17-year-old girl who succumbed to her injuries due to gun violence. But besides losing our loved ones in the Chicagoland area, Chicago proper, there's something going on with the whole Des Plaines River situation. Again, about 6 or 7 people within the past month have been found uh, dead. Um, and so, before getting into that, um, I'd like to say again, thank you for your support for the Nasha Harrison Show. It's shows like this that make, you know, broadcasting matter. Not that the other shows don't, but this is a very serious subject. We want to get into it. When I met this brother today, we talked about getting those roundtables together. We're
Yes,
going to
sir.
talk a little bit more about that. Getting those roundtables together, getting the brothers around the table, and getting the sisters around the table, getting the brothers and sisters around the table. Um, there are places that we've talked about. We talked about something called barbershop talk,
Yes.
bar talk, things of that nature. Shout out to Queenie Love on the East Coast for taking bar talk to a different level, a wonderful level, going upward and onward, bringing important issues and topics to the forefront to be discussed. So before I get into your introduction, tell a little bit of people, tell the people a little bit about yourself. Before we get into that, I'd just like to say that it's very important that we power down from time to time. And what I mean by that is this: if you mean something to somebody, um, then you owe it to yourself to take a step back from everything you got going on. I talked to a family member today, and um, he's being pulled in every direction, 24/7. And somebody shared it with me, and I shared it with him. It's very important that sometimes you take a step back and don't answer the phone. Sometimes you don't answer the door. Okay. Sometimes you don't take that ride to go see about this person or that person. Sometimes it's very important that you power down. Uh, you have a lot of people that's out there that are dependent on you. A lot of people that you depend on. You know, a lot of us got a lot of coals in the fire, so to speak. It's a lot of businesses that we got going on, a lot of moves that we trying to make. But it doesn't do you any good to make all these moves and obtain all these things if you don't have this physical body able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. So sometimes it's important to just simply take a step back and power down. You know, go ahead and take that hour, take 2 hours, take that day, take that week, whatever it is that you need to press that reset button. We don't want you stroking out, having a heart attack, having some type of accident because you got such a brain fog that you can't really manage all the coals in the fire that you have, right? So, you know, you got four eyes on the stove. How many of us actually use those 4 eyes at the same time to cook the things that we need to cook? You know, 4 eyes plus the oven plus the microwave and plus the prep on the other side of the counter. You have to prioritize. You have to make sure that the coals that you put in the fire are being put in the fire and pulled out of the fire to do what it is that they need to do so that you can go ahead and move forward and obtain the fruits of your labor and get the fruits and enjoy those fruits and the fruits that you don't enjoy, pass it on to others and do what we call legacy building. You got to be able to plot that course, um, till that soil, make that ground fertile and ready to be planted so that when you've done your race and when you've gone as far as you could have gone, that you do it in a healthy way, that you do it in a comprehensive way so that you can go ahead and move forward and pass on your legacy, be healthy about it and enjoy the fruits of your labor and not only that, but enjoy others that are around you that are benefiting from all the hard work and all the blood, sweat, and tears that you put into something. So I just wanted to share that. If you care about your loved ones and you know that they're over, don't keep pulling at them. Don't keep tasking them.
I know.
Don't keep asking them for things that could be at the cost of their health. It's good to be selfish for those who need to power down, and for those who are being too selfish and continue to ask from those who need to power down, take a step back. Take a step back and look at their situation. Have some empathy, some sympathy, have some patience, right? Allow those people that you claim that you love be at peace so that they can help themselves and put themselves in a better position to help you once they've done that. Right?
Yes, sir.
So I just wanted to share that. So with that, I'd like to introduce again my guest on the Dasha Harrison Show here on Intellectual Radio, where we feed our brains. Brother Mustafa, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I want to give thanks and glory to our Heavenly Father for allowing us to be here today, to be able to honor Him and serve him in any kind of way that we can. Also, it's a lot of topics you chop on, so I need to chop back on what you just said
Hold on a second. I want to make sure your mic is on.
because it don't sound like it's on.
No, I'm not sure if your mic is on. So what we're gonna do, um, we will keep going, and if you can, um, see if you can get in touch with um, Earl to see if just to make sure that we're up. 'Cause I don't want all these, nuggets that you're gonna be dropping. Nobody
Yes,
can
sir.
hear you.
Yes, sir.
So
So can we talk? Can I just talk a little louder?
no, because I don't know if it's being caught. So
Okay.
we got two things going on. We actually got two shows going on. What you have on you
Mm-hmm.
is registering with the videographer who just left to get
Oh,
the engineer for the show that we're currently on live with.
okay.
So we got two things going on. For the show here, they'll be able to hear you. But for intellectual radio, we just want to make sure that you hot.
Yes, sir.
Solid. All right. Say something.
Testing, testing, testing.
Okay. Okay. So it's on. Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and chop it up. So
All right.
go ahead.
Once again, everybody. My name is King Mustafa, and I was giving thanks to our Heavenly Father for allowing us to be here today, and I appreciate it. As the host was saying to you earlier, it's a lot of topics that we got to touch on today. So I'm gonna try to be brief with some of them, but I want you to bear with me that a lot of things you might hear that comes from me, it's gonna touch your heart in a way that I hope that it allow you to reach out to others to be able to help us with this situation involving Joliet, because a lot of people is hurting from months about missing children or missing family members, whether it be females or male, around the Joliet area. It's just too much for Joliet to handle on their own. And we're gonna get on top of that as soon as we get on with the next thing I'm about to say is another he touched on. It's got to deal with us handling our community as a community. We keep on pointing our fingers at downtown or wherever they supposed to go to get help from, and it seems like we get the same answer. The same people that we put into office don't want to help us in office. They're helping themselves while they're in the office. If we vote for security, if we vote for help, if we voted for you just to even show up at our school to talk to our kids, you got paid to be there. We don't shouldn't be in fear about who's supposed to be saving our lives. We don't supposed to be in captive in one side of a community and not accepted to the other side. We're supposed to be welcome everywhere. We're not black, we're not white, we're not Mexican. We are human beings. There is no color when it comes to a community because I'm passionate about that. I'm passionate about people that's deaf. I'm passionate about people that got one arm. I'm passionate about people, period. But I'm speaking to those that understand the voice of the voiceless.
So community is a concept, not a color.
Yes.
Okay. And before you go into any topic, let's talk a little bit about you, where you're from. Give us a little bit of background about you, and then after that, let's talk into your experience with uh, Pastor Beard a week ago
Okay.
and what he was doing when you met him,
Okay.
which is very important.
Well, as I said before, my name is King Mustafa. I'm originally from Louisiana. I'm 51. I'll be 52 this month. And yeah, I do volunteer work for anyone. It's not in a specific place or person. Wherever there's help at, my Heavenly Father guides me to do what I need to do for anyone. I'm in the business of helping people, never making money. You're already paid for when his son died for us. So I love helping people. They're just me. I don't need nothing from you. I can't never say this enough. I can always get money. I can always get a house, but I can never get another you. So where you think my heart gonna reach out to? So yeah. So again, he told me to speak on a gentleman. I need to get that right now. So I'm gonna cut straight to the chase. You already know who I am. I'm a King Mustafa, and this gentleman he was talking about Mr. Beard about a week and some ago. I was at McDonald's and this gentleman was standing out there with a couple of gentlemen, and he was talking about how he can help or talk about helping Joliet with some of the things that's going on. And we were just having a table. Basically, we was outside, so we was really having a table talk about what it takes to, or what do we need to do to get inside, helping Joliet with the unsolved murders or kids that need school things or back to school stuff. So we were just chopping a lot of things. I didn't get to know him that well, but in the midst of that, he wanted me to come and help him once he get everything up and running. And it hurts me to know that the gentleman that I was just speaking to about helping me to help other people change their lives was not the man they found. Was it yesterday or yesterday morning or yesterday evening in the Displaying River or the River Walk, whatever they call it in Joliet?
About 8 feet in. It was about 8 feet of water that his vehicle was found in.
So that's about as much as I can say about him because I really get to know him that well. But in the moment that I met him, I know he was serious about what he was asking us. And I knew he was going to be one of the ones that get someone to help us take care of whatever it was. It was no doubt about it. I was for sure to get to meet him again, but I guess untimeliness,
Right.
yeah,
On the other side, so to speak, as far
yeah.
as we getting to meet him again. And I think it's important. I did not know their the fact that you met him and he talked about community activism to the unsolved or the suspect deaths in the area. I just think it very beneficial for us to have a discussion. Now, have any facts about uh, anything that's going on with um, Pastor Beard or any of the other uh, folks that have unfortunately lost their lives and was found in this that was continued um, showcasing of unfortunately the hurt of all those loved ones. It seems systemic concerning. It seems like a pattern. Um, Hopefully that um, the activism that was spoken about, um, you helping people like Pastor Beard.
There's kings.
Yeah, actually,
Yes. So some people want money. Some people just want to just work. They don't think about the money along with that. If you come along, you come along to help. But the biggest provider of it all, I trust my Heavenly Father before I trust anyone. Not how we get this done. What do we need to do? And then I'm gonna go use my action to get it done. The only way that stops for me is if I'm dead. It don't stop for me while I'm alive because I'm gonna keep going as long as He allow me to. At these tables, it's a lot of men out here who's either just coming
coming home from
prison or
incarceration.
yes, or they been out here and they've been dealing with their kids or whatever it may be, trying to make sure their kids don't have to worry about the neighborhood they live in and things of that nature. But it's not enough for the kids that don't have their father no more. And then we're saying, who's to blame? No one's to blame. This is just like my son, just like it's my daughter. This is my cousin, just like we're kin. Whether you want to separate, we ain't got to have the same mom or dad and all that. We was created by one person, one being, rather say. And if we all as children, I'm gonna call you my brother, and I'm here for you because you my brother. But when we stop that and we start degrading and talking about people or trying to misuse other people in the things that we do, that's when we lose. Excuse me, we don't have strength in numbers as far as like how we think, how we talk out of our mouth. We come when it's deaths or some type of. We don't come together when we need to just come together.
We don't come around the table when it's uh, we come around the table when it's uncomfortable, when we're forced to because of someone's death, or when we're forced to because we're incarcerated. So now we all in the same boat, so to speak. We're in the same facility, so to speak.
Yes,
So
sir.
now we have to pass each other and
Yes,
deal
sir.
with each
And
other.
deal with each other.
So I've said it before that what's made us, um, what's put us on one accord is not what created us. What put us on one accord is the conditions that we were put up under.
Okay.
And so I've said before, unfortunately, a lot of people look at Africa as a place like the United States. For example, you from Louisiana,
Hmm.
and then we'll talk about Chapachulas on the break because my family go 90+ years back
Yeah.
to Louisiana. So your people from Louisiana,
Hmm.
my people from Illinois, or Mississippi, something like that. So even though it's a different state, we've crossed state lines. We still got the same gene pool,
Hmm.
DNA, things of that nature. When you look at a continent full of countries,
Hmm.
you can't compare to Nigeria when it comes to DNA. They have their own DNA. They have their own customs. They just didn't cross borders. And at the same time, some places that have borders, those borders were not imposed by the ancestors from that place. Those
Okay.
borders were imposed due to colonialism. So you got tribes that were separated that should have stayed together, and tribes that stayed together that should have been separated, or whatever you have. So my point is this: the fact that you have a diet, let's say you're from Benin or Togo, so you're from the Ivory Coast, so you might have a fish-based diet. I'm from, the Sahel or the Sahara, so my diet, my dietary traditions are going to be different. So we're different people. We got the same skin color, but we're different. Now, what makes us the same in this country is how we came over to this country together. The pressure was on. So even though your language and your customs are different and mine are different, oppression put us together
Okay. Yes, sir.
to have to work together. Now, after the pressure's kind of taken off, this society taught us that our differences are, and our yeah, our differences are not our strengths. That's what society has taught us. They've taught us that our differences are our weaknesses. It's taught us that our differences is what's supposed to keep you over there, a darker skinned person, and keep me over here, a lighter skinned person, and that we're supposed to remain opposed to one another
Hmm.
because we don't look like each other.
Hmm.
But we both black men in America. So when you take the pressure off, then the society that we have operated in does not encourage us to make our differences our strengths. And so with your roundtable concept, that's where all that gets squashed. You don't have to be under pressure to galvanize and come together when everybody's back is up against the wall because of their skin color. The fact that we're all God's children, no matter what color, it's a concept as far as race. But we are created as human beings, as you were saying earlier. So now, how do we use that? I believe that one of the biggest things that we have to do initially is recognize that our differences can be our strengths, and that when we educate one another, because we have to, we have to re-educate ourselves about who we are, right? We have to re-educate ourselves about the knowledge that was actually taken from us when we were studied, the knowledge that was gained from studying us, whether it was our mathematics, whether it was our agricultural ways, whether it was our ways of astrology, our religious ways, when these things were studied and the knowledge was gained, the position of the oppressor was put in the position to master us.
Hmm.
When we were mastered because of help from others that looked like us,
Hmm.
and we were oppressed, put in chains, and now it's about 500 years now. Over 400 years, we're in the land. We were mastered. So now it's up to us to unlearn the things that oppress us, number one. Number two, relearn ourselves, regain the knowledge of what created us, what our purpose is, the how and the why, and then study the oppressor which mastered us so that we can learn their ways as well in order to thrive in a society that was never meant for us to thrive in the first place. And so I believe it's very important that you um, are very interested in the concept to get everybody around the table. So with that, you talked about community as well. So give me an example of everybody being around the table, the needs of a community. I'm from the South Boston community originally,
Okay.
long time ago, and a lot of things still remain the same.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take the South Boston community, West Side. Let's take everybody around the table. What are one of the main topics that you can participate in coming up with that would affect change in a positive way?
Uh, well, my thing would be, first of all, save the children was one of the things I was talking to out there. I mean, save the children mean stop the gun violence, because you're not killing the person. And I don't justify nothing about killing nobody at all. Please don't mistake me for that. When I say people are starting to kill more kids and females than the person that they're actually trying to kill. And what don't make sense to me is that no one is really even speaking out about this. It's a person that didn't even get a chance to get their future. The person who birthed them is gone now. So my thing was, when I came to pose this to the lady I was just speaking to, if we save the kids, same way they can have safe playgrounds, same way they can be able to go to school without have to worry about somebody standing for drugs or finna get shot at. You know, it everybody want to put it on the police, but it's not just them. They're just the person who's securing the area. We're the one that live in the area. So that's what I meant by people always say they're not gonna come and help or they don't have time. You have time when you have that problem.
You have time when you have that problem.
Yes.
Okay.
Whether it be your life, whether it be your child ain't got this, I'm willing to help the community bring back like how my parents was when we was coming up. They would take time out to come to this after school programs, or they'll show up at the basketball games, or the support.
Mm-hmm.
Or if the kids next door they had no food, they'll say, "Hey y'all, come on next door. I got enough for y'all."
Right.
You,
Community.
right. The light before the lights went out, you know where you was gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
We go back to helping each other the way we supposed to, and not blame everybody once somebody don't do something right. Pick them up. You never know what's going on with that person today.
Right.
You don't know what they're going through. Everybody have something that they have to do in a day, and it might not work out for them. So why not pick the phone to check up on them? So when I put all these things on the table, what I just said to you just now, all I'm opposing to the community or the table is each one teach one. Let's go back to that. I'm gonna treat your kids like my kids,
Mm-hmm.
with no disrespect intended. You know, we losing too many people at a rapid pace, and we always say give somebody their flowers while they're here, or life is too short.
Mm-hmm.
We're not gonna be able to save nobody. Like, if death's gonna happen, death's gonna happen. That's inevitable. But why you love somebody who's dead more than you love somebody who's alive?
Right. I'm glad you said that. And I want us to expound more on your topic of saving the children. Welcome back to the Nasha Harrison Show here on Intellectual Radio, 708-223-8953. If you've tried to call in, but you have some issues, because we have a lot going on here in the studio. There's a lot of shows going on because we got some really serious topics of discussion that are going on throughout the whole space. So if you try to call in to then I apologize. You just go ahead and put your comments in. Make sure that you subscribe to intellectualradio.com. And if you want to put comments in, leave comments, please feel free to do so. We're going to keep the topic of discussion going about community. We've talked about a whole lot, hit a whole lot. We talked about the situation that's going on with Pastor Beard and other members that other people who have been found dead in the Des Plaines River. Um, we've also touched on community and some of the solutions that we can probably agree to if we have some roundtable discussions. So, King Mustafa, if you just joining us after the break, we're talking with King Mustafa about some different ideas that we're actually going to move forward with. On the break, we talked about doing some things for the community. So, if we can pick up where we left off, talking about the children and how it's important to tackle this gang violence. And let's talk about that, and let's talk about when we're going to get around the table and get some work done.
Yes, sir. Well, again, King Mustafa, and I was speaking earlier about community programs for children. I want to start off saying that some of the things that these people was doing last year was not allowing kids that was at school to have a half a day job. They're at the age of 16 to 18, almost 17, I believe. And after school programs or after school jobs for extra credit in school, I remember we used to do that. So now we missing what the kid need to do versus what they want to do. We'll buy them games to let them watch all these games and stuff on TV and gun plays on the thing, but we're not giving them the credentials to be able to go out and find a job or know how to do credit score, to do how to do real estate and all the other things that we didn't get a chance to do.
Right, life lessons and things like that.
Yes.
Life
So
management tools.
no disrespect to what color they are, white people start their kids off when they were little, and they're in the credit cards and all that. Our kids,
The offense to people of color. I believe we have to say, okay, here's the offense. How do we move forward from that offense? So, although there has been a huge head start, nothing is stopping us from coming together and with you if my house isn't together. If
yes,
I
sir.
don't have the credit score to present to be uh, to be discriminated against.
Yes.
So to holler at someone because they're racist or having racist, I can't even get in the ring to have that fight if I don't have my stuff together. If I don't, we talked about before the show, we talked about looking in the mirror, and I talked about this on my last show, how it starts with you looking in the mirror and talking to that person that you see in the mirror about what needs to be corrected. If I want to actually have some type of ground to stand on concerning what I believe or think is going on, or even what I know is going on
Mhm.
out there against me because
The means to keep it the way it's supposed to go. Like it's supposed to be beneficial to you when you need things, just say like a house or a car of that. We take it and go buy Jordans and everything else. So if we're not setting the principle for what the children is learning, then they just gonna do what they want to do, and that's how we become with a disruptive child at home. Because all we doing is feeding you this, like you said, somebody said earlier, here, get this and go away from me.
I'm a consumer.
You're able to